Shock and Kill, Part 2. How the strategy actually works. In Part 1, we explored the reason HIV cannot be cured with standard treatment. The virus hides inside long-lived immune cells, forming the latent reservoir. Shock and Kill is the scientific response to that challenge. A strategy designed to force the virus out of hiding and then eliminate the infected cells once they become visible. Now, in Part 2, we break down the full system, the shock tools, the kill tools, the clinical trials, what has worked, what has failed, and what scientists now understand about improving the strategy. The shock phase, how to wake a silent virus. A latent HIV-infected cell is like a powered-off machine. The virus is present, its DNA is integrated, but it is not producing any proteins. The goal of the shock phase is to turn the machine on, but in a controlled way while the patient continues receiving antiretroviral therapy. Scientists use compounds called latency reversing agents, or LRAs. When developing LRAs, researchers look for drugs that meet 3 criteria. 1. They must activate viral transcription. The virus inside the cell must begin making proteins again, which appear on the surface of the cell, making the infected cell visible to the immune system. 2. They must avoid activating the entire immune system. High-level immune activation can cause dangerous inflammation. A good LRA should target only the pathways involved in viral reactivation. 3. They must avoid harming healthy cells. Not all activation is safe. The best LRAs turn on viral genes without pushing the cell toward uncontrolled division or death. The main types of LRAs tested so far. HIV researchers have tested several classes of LRAs. Each works through a different biological mechanism. Let's explore the main categories. 1. HDAC inhibitors, unlocking DNA packaging. Histone deacetylase. HDAC enzymes help keep DNA tightly wrapped around proteins, preventing gene expression. HIV uses this mechanism as a hiding technique. It becomes part of this tightly packed structure and goes silent. HDAC inhibitors loosen that DNA packaging, allowing transcription machinery to access the viral genes. Examples: Varinostat, Romidepsin, Panobinostat. These drugs successfully wake up latent virus in many clinical studies. However, the activation level is often limited. Not all reservoir cells respond. And HDAC inhibitors, while effective, can cause fatigue, nausea, and immune suppression if doses are too high. 2. PKC actuators, turning the switch back on. Protein kinase C PKC activators stimulate pathways that lead to NF20B activation, a protein that switches on many genes, including HIV's genetic machinery. Examples: Bryostatin 1. Ingenol derivatives. These compounds produce strong reactivation, but they must be used carefully. High-level PKC activation can cause inflammation or T-cell overactivation. Researchers are now engineering safer, more selective versions of these activators. 3. TLR agonists, innate immune system, wake-up calls. Toll-like receptors, TLRs, are a part of the innate immune system that detect pathogens. TLR agonists stimulate the cell's natural antiviral sensors, triggering a cascade of responses that expose hidden virus. Examples: TLR7 agonists like GS9620. TLR9 agonists. These drugs have shown promise, not only in awakening latent virus, but also in boosting immune responses, which means they help both the shock phase and the kill phase. This dual effect makes them one of the most exciting LRA categories. 4. Immune checkpoint inhibitors, removing the brakes. T-cells have natural brakes that prevent excessive immune activation. HIV exploits these brakes, pushing immune cells into an exhausted state so they cannot recognize infected cells. Checkpoint inhibitors, used in cancer immunotherapy, release these brakes. Examples: anti-PD-1 antibodies, anti-CTLA-4 antibodies. Early research suggests they may help reverse latency and enhance killing simultaneously. However, because checkpoint inhibitors can produce strong immune responses, their safety and HIV cure strategies must be carefully monitored. The kill phase, how to destroy cells after they're exposed. Once the virus is activated inside a reservoir cell, the infected cell should theoretically be eliminated by the immune system. But human immunity, especially in people who have lived with HIV for years, is often not strong enough to clear the infected cells efficiently. Therefore, researchers are developing tools to improve the kill phase. There are 5 major strategies. 1. Therapeutic vaccines, teaching the immune system to attack. Unlike preventive vaccines, therapeutic vaccines aim to train the immune system to recognize and destroy infected cells already in the body. Therapeutic vaccines increase CD8 T-cell activity, enhance memory T-cell responses, improve recognition of activated HIV antigens, and strengthen immune killing. Examples include DNA vaccines, viral vector vaccines, peptide vaccines, mRNA therapeutic vaccines. The goal is simple: when a latent cell wakes up, the immune system must be ready to attack immediately. 2. Broadly neutralizing antibodies, NAbs. NAbs are engineered antibodies capable of binding to conserved parts of the virus. In shock and kill, bNAbs help in two ways. A. They neutralize free virus. Any virus released by activated cells is stopped, preventing new infections. B. They recruit immune cells to destroy infected cells. They bind to viral proteins on the surface of activated cells, flagging them for destruction by natural killer NK cells or macrophages. Several trials using bNAbs combined with LRAs have shown enhanced reduction of viral load during treatment interruption. bNAbs are one of the strongest kill phase tools available today. 3. CAR T cells, engineered immune cells. CAR T therapy involves taking a patient's T cells, engineering them to recognize HIV, and reinfusing them back into the body. These engineered cells can detect infected cells more effectively, kill with greater precision, persist long-term, act as a living therapy. CAR T cells are already approved for certain cancers. Their adaptation for HIV is ongoing, and early preclinical results are promising. 4. NK cell activation. The immune system's first responders, natural killer NK cells, are part of the innate immune system. They act quickly, without the need for prior exposure. Certain drugs and immune modulators can increase NK cell activity, making them more effective at killing activated reservoir cells. NK boosting strategies are now being tested as a complementary kill phase enhancement. 5. Small molecule immune modifiers. These drugs enhance apoptosis, program cell death, cytotoxic T cell function, macrophage phagocytosis. They help turn activated infected cells into targets for destruction more efficiently. The first wave of shock and kill trials, what we learned. Now that we understand the tools, let's examine what has actually happened in clinical trials, because the story is more complex than expected. Many LRAs successfully woke up the virus, but in most early trials, the reservoir did not significantly shrink. Why? 2 reasons. Reason 1, the shock wasn't strong enough. In many trials, LRAs only activated a small percentage of latent cells. Most reservoir cells remain silent. If the virus never wakes up, the kill tools have nothing to target. Scientists call this a partial reactivation barrier. Reason 2, the immune system was not strong enough to kill. Chronic HIV leads to T cell exhaustion, immune dysfunction, decreased cytotoxic capacity. Even when the virus was reactivated, the infected cells sometimes stayed alive. Scientists call this the inefficient clearance problem. These 2 challenges blocked early success, but they also shaped the next wave of research, the second wave of shock and kill, combination strategies. Over the last decade, the cure field has moved to combination shock and kill strategies where LRAs and kill phase enhancers are used together. 2 major combination platforms have shown promise. 1. LARI plus therapeutic vaccine. Therapeutic vaccines boost T cell responses. LRAs expose hidden infected cells. Using them together creates a synchronized response. Wake up the virus, kill the infected cells immediately. Several trials using this approach have shown modest reductions in reservoir size and delayed viral rebound during treatment interruption. 2. LRA plus bNAbs. bNAbs work exceptionally well with LRAs. LRAs expose infected cells. bNAbs latch onto viral proteins. Immune cells recognize the flagged cells. NK cells execute the kill. Some of the strongest results in human trials have come from mAbs, paired with TLR agonists. Several people in these studies experienced significant delays in viral rebound after stopping ART temporarily. The limitations still remain. Even with combination approaches, shock and kill has not yet produced a full cure. Why? Researchers now understand the deeper biological limitations. 1. Not all reservoir cells are reachable. Some tissues, like the brain or gut, are difficult for LRAs to penetrate effectively. 2. Some cells only partially reactivate. This produces viral proteins too weakly for the immune system to detect. 3. Some infected cells naturally resist apoptosis. This makes killing them very difficult. 4. HIV adapts even in the reservoir. Certain reservoir cells may hold escape variants that resist specific immune responses. A new discovery: some latent cells are dead-end cells. One of the biggest breakthroughs in recent years came from the discovery that not all HIV DNA in the reservoir is functional. Many infected cells contain defective virus, as if the virus died inside the cell. These defective cells cannot reactivate, cannot produce new virus, and are essentially harmless. However, they still appear as part of the reservoir in tests because they contain viral DNA. This finding is critical because it means a cure does not require destroying every infected cell, only the ones containing intact, replication-competent virus. This insight changes the way the reservoir is measured and how cure success will eventually be defined. A shift in thinking from kill everything to target what matters. Early shock and kill strategies assumed every infected cell must be eliminated, but now scientists understand that the real goal is reduce the reservoir of functional virus below the threshold needed for rebound. This is how a functional cure could be achieved even before a complete sterilizing cure is possible. combining shock and kill with other cure strategies. Shock and kill is now being integrated with gene editing, immune engineering, therapeutic vaccines, bNAbs, stem cell research, immune checkpoint modulation. The future cure may involve shock and kill plus protect and replace, or shock and kill plus block and lock. In our next video, we'll explore this even more in part 3. You don't want to miss that part of this video. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and thank you for watching Health Awareness. One love.